I'd like to call to order the Cuyahoga County Council regular meeting for Tuesday, October the 9th. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Calling the roll, Mr. Brady.
Here.
Mr. Germana.
Here.
Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Mr. Schron.
Here.
Ms. Conwell.
Here.
Mr. Jones.
Here.
Mr. Rogers.
Here.
Ms. Simon.
Here.
Mr. Greenspan.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
Ms. Conley.
Here.
There is a quorum.
All right, will you please rise to the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For our silent meditation this evening, I'd like everyone to spend a moment to think about their own private reflections. Item 5 on the agenda is public comment related to the agenda. I believe some people have signed in.
Yes, we have several persons who have signed in to speak. Shantae Thompson, this regards the jail kitchen project.
Ms. Thompson? Ms. Thompson? No, if you've got a public comment, you got to come and talk now. Meetings are for council, and we allow the public to come in and speak with an item that's related to the agenda. So this is your 3 minutes of fame. You can have your own 3 minutes if you'd like.
Okay, well, she was on the agenda, and she's here to answer questions.
No, she's not here to answer questions, ma'am. She has 3 minutes to make any statements that she'd like to make. If there were questions, other questions, they would have come in a committee meeting. But tonight, she has 3 minutes to say whatever she'd like. And if you want to raise the podium for her, please. Start with your name, please.
My name is Shantae V. Thompson. I'm president, owner of Brigadier Construction Services, located here in Cleveland, Ohio. There have been several questions, some articles. I've talked to some county employees, if you will, concerning the jail kitchen project. So I didn't quite know how this format was to go. I was under the assumption that if there were any questions, I would be able to be asked those questions and answer them. So since it's not going that way, I would just like to say that Brigadier Construction, we've been in business since 2005. I've been the owner of the company since 2006. I'm sorry, since 2005, and sole owner since 2006. As far as the kitchen projects, I've got some past experience in dining facilities. One at Fort Leonard Wood in Missouri. I built a 30,000 square foot dining facility from the ground up. It's a $12 million project. I also built a dining facility at the Camp Atterbury, Indiana post, and that was a $9 million project from the ground up as well. So when this project came out to bid, it pretty much was a no-brainer that I should pursue it in my own backyard. As far as the state of Ohio, since 2005, I've completed 10 construction projects in the state of Ohio, 7 in my own backyard here at the Cleveland VA. I'm not sure if any of you have ever visited the VA, but the main entrance, not the new construction, but the main entrance, I've completed 4 projects that have changed the face of the VA. I have an outstanding track record. I have outstanding evaluations that should be in the hands of you guys as well. So if there are no questions, then I hope that you guys feel that my company is qualified as a small business to perform this project and hand you guys back a great project.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you like to say something also? You signed in for public comment.
I did, and just to follow
Start
up
with your name, please.
my name is Audra Zarlinga from Thompson-Hein, and I represent Brigadier Construction, and I've represented Brigadier for the past year and a half. Ms. Thompson runs this company. It's a great company. They've got a wonderful track record with doing government projects. There have been some comments made that Brigadier was debarred or unable to perform government contract work, which are completely false. They are currently bidding and being awarded government projects, and Ms. Thompson really wanted to bring Brigadier back to Cuyahoga County and perform a job here. And they bid this job, and they were the lowest responsive bidder, and we hope that the county sees fit in awarding the project to them. Thank you.
Two other people have signed in, but I'm going to take care of them with on item 7 with the presentation of the proclamation. So,
Madam Chair, excuse me, I have one more
Oh, I'm
person
sorry.
who's also signed in to speak, and this is Norman Edwards regarding the jail kitchen project.
all right, Mr. Edwards, you have 3 minutes if you'd like to come forward.
Good evening, board and board members. My name is Norman Edwards. I represent the Black Contractors Group, and I'm here on behalf of Brigadier Construction. It's pretty sad that the plain dealer would write articles and they don't do their homework. This is a construction company that's been in business for quite some time, that has the capabilities and the bonding capacity to perform this job and many other jobs throughout the state of Ohio. It's unfortunate that with all the corruption and things that have been going on here, blacks, minorities, and Latinos have been shut out of the construction industry here. I've been fighting for quite some time. She should be applauded, not run through a ringer. And I don't understand why it was tabled. Plain dealers should be ashamed of themselves. I mean, for promoting racism. And this board should be ashamed of themselves. If the board had done their homework, you know, they put comments in the plain dealer from last week saying that the contract was yanked or the week before last. And in the day, you know, they should be apologized. This is a contractor that hires blacks and minorities, and we need more of. I mean, she puts up her bonding, very, very difficult thing to do. Completed jobs, very, very difficult to do. She hires African Americans, she hires women, she does the right thing. She does the right thing. Because the plain dealer has relationships with contractors and jealousy, they try to do everything in their power to take a contract away from a lower responsive bidder that happened to be born black. It is tough for anyone to get bonding, black, white, Hispanic, very, very tough to do. I think her record speaks for itself. The plain dealer should be shut down, promoting racism. It's got to stop for us to progress in Cuyahoga County. Are they scared that this company is going to hire African Americans and Hispanics because we have a problem with the unions? And yes, they are non-union. They did sign the addendum, and their subcontractors will be union. We don't have problems with the unions. But in the history of the unions, there's never been one African American business manager in a 100-year history of the Cleveland building trades. So I applaud her company. I will do everything to ensure and make sure she progresses the right way and give her the qualified people that I know that she will do the job correctly. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. We have 2 other people, but we'll be addressing them under item 7. The minutes for item 6, the minutes of the meeting of September the 25th, 2012 are in your packet. I hope that everyone has had an opportunity to review those minutes. If they have, we can entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Mr. Greenspan and seconded by Mr. Rogers. Any comment or corrections on the minutes? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The minutes are adopted. I just have a couple of announcements. I'd like to congratulate our Assistant Clerk, Nikki Barnhill, and her husband, David Mueller. They were married here in Council Chambers on Friday, and they are happily on their honeymoon. And since I married them, I know that they're going to stay married a long time. Because I married Councilperson Conwell and her husband, and she's still married. On a serious note, we have item 15 on the agenda will be moved to the end of the agenda. And also, we have 2 board appointments I'd like to announce to the public that are available if anyone is interested. There will be appointed a 15-person citizens committee for the equity plan that was adopted by council. Candidates should be prepared to meet on a quarterly basis and produce a semi-annual report on recommendations for the county regarding the enactment of the equity plan. And those applications are available on the county website. There also is a vacancy on the Soldiers and Sailors Monument Commission. We're asking all those Civil War buffs that are interested in working on the Soldiers and Sailors Monument. There is a requirement that there is a certain number of veterans, so veterans will get a preference to that appointment, but that appointment, the announcement of that is also on the county website. We had a committee of the whole meeting prior to this meeting, and I would like to entertain a motion at this time to add an item to the agenda, add item 2012-0011 to be added onto the agenda after item 13.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we add on the item 0011, which is the casino revenue ordinance. Is there any discussion? They'll just be on for second reading. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, so the agenda will be so amended. We have 3 presentations this evening for proclamations commemorating October as Awareness Month. And I'd like to call on first my special presentation for breast cancer awareness. And Mr. Fitzgerald, you might note at your desk we have given you a back scratcher from the Breast Cancer Fund of Ohio. We've been scratching your back, so you can scratch your own back with a back scratcher from the Breast Cancer Fund of Ohio. I'd like to call on Deb Ferens, who is the director of the Breast Cancer Fund of Ohio. We'll give you 3 minutes to give your presentation.
Okay, thank you. As President Conley said, I am Deb Ferens. I am the General Administrator of Breast Cancer Fund of Ohio, and I want to thank Council President Conley and the council members and County Executive Fitzgerald for having me here today to speak. Breast Cancer Fund of Ohio is the only organization that can say that 100% of our funds stay in Ohio. We're very proud of that. Our mission is to help Ohio breast cancer patients survive the hardships of cancer treatment by providing emergency funds and financial assistance. While we happily accept any donations that come our way, our main source of revenue is through the sale of the Breast Cancer Awareness pink ribbon license plate. I have a sample for you to see. And that, of course, you buy from the state. And the revenue from the sale of that plate goes to our fund, and then we issue grants to organizations throughout the state of Ohio who are taking care of patients, men and women alike, who are going through the day-to-day challenges of living with breast cancer. Some of the emergency services that we cover are transportations to and from treatment, temporary supportive living expenses such as housing, utilities, and food, child care during diagnostic and treatment procedures. And we also cover several services that are just not covered by insurance. Some mental health services, treatment costs and prescriptions and copays, and cost of participation in clinical trials. I get calls almost daily from women and men alike who are facing this horrible disease, afraid that their electricity is going to be shut off or wondering how they're going to get to treatment, and often just don't go to treatment because they can't afford the transportation. And they'd rather save the money to feed their kids. And these people are sick. And so that's why Breast Cancer Fund of Ohio is here, to help the individuals. The large organizations like Komen and American Cancer Society are doing fabulous work, and they're raising money for research and to work towards a cure, which we all hope for. But Breast Cancer Fund of Ohio is taking care of the individual. We appreciate the honorable gesture the Council is making today to recognize October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month for Cuyahoga County, and would also like to publicly thank the Honorable C. Ellen Conley for her selfless work on behalf of our organization. Judge Conley was also just honored for her work by Medical Mutual of Ohio this past weekend, if you hadn't heard about that. Thank you, Judge Conley, and thank you again, council members and County Executive Fitzgerald, sorry about that, for allowing me to speak this afternoon.
Okay, and we'd like to present you with a proclamation.
Oh, I love that.
And for our archives, and thank you very much for coming in. And as a 33-year breast cancer survivor, I say hurrah for Breast Cancer Fund of Ohio.
Thank you very much, and now all of you go get your plants.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and we have from Vanessa, is it Pesca? The only person that signed in was Nancy. They talked about the recognition of Disability Employment Month for October. So I would like to have someone come forward.
Thank you. My name is Nancy Seidel, and I am a part of the county's advisory committee for people with disabilities. We have, for the past at least 5 years, gone through county executive and county commissioners to have this month commemorated as National Disability Awareness Month, Employment Awareness Month. And I'd like to read the proclamation, if you wouldn't mind. Whereas the annual observance of National Disability Employment Awareness Month is designed to recognize the contribution of workers with disabilities, the effort to educate the American public about issues related to disability and employment actually began in 1945 when Congress enacted a law declaring the first week of October as National Employ the Physically Handicapped Week. Whereas in 1962, the word physically was removed to acknowledge the employment needs and contributions of individuals with all disability types. In 1988, Congress expanded the week to a month and changed the name to National Disability Employment Awareness Month. Whereas this observance presents us with the opportunity to increase the public's awareness of the contributions and skills of American workers with disabilities. Programs carried out during this month will also highlight the specific barriers that still need to be addressed and removed. Whereas the 2012 observance theme is "A strong workforce is an inclusive workforce," and builds on the Founding Fathers' philosophy that a new nation sees every human being having inherent worth bestowed upon them by the Creator, and that equality is a fundamental right. Whereas Americans with disabilities strengthen our country's workforce by enhancing the workplace environment for people with disabilities, employers can help to provide access to jobs and allow these individuals to demonstrate their potential and realize their dreams. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Council of Cuyahoga County, Ohio, hereby proclaims the month of October 2012 as Disability Employment Awareness Month in Cuyahoga County. A strong workforce is an inclusive workforce. And be it further proclaimed that the County Council of Cuyahoga County hereby recognizes that Americans with disabilities are an underutilized reservoir of ambition, talent, skills, ready to make a great contribution to the workplace. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we have Ms. Pesca? Oh, we're going to give you the proclamation. Congratulations.
All right, we can see how quickly this moves.
It's been going up and down tonight.
I
It's
know,
not, it's
I
not
know,
used to that.
exactly. This is good. It's good practice for it. Thank you very much. My name is Vanessa Pesic, and I'm the vice chair of the Advisory Committee on Persons with Disability. The chair is Lynn Ruffner, and we do appreciate you passing this proclamation. I think it's a very important step in recognizing the work that people with disabilities do in terms of work and play and living here in Cuyahoga County. And we share your goal in exceeding the minimal standards that the ADA that was passed in 1990 actually requires. And collectively, our committee has over 150 years of experience in all different types of disabilities. You look, think of wheelchairs as those with disability. There are so many others that are really important to recognize and to work on here in the county. And when we're working most effectively and efficiently, as we have been, our committee's over 30 years old. We have been working with Cuyahoga County. We have 2 full-time ADA specialists, and we would work collaboratively. They would bring problems to us. We would bring problems to them. Together we would work and solve them on behalf of the people within Cuyahoga County. We fully appreciate the tremendous transition that the county has gone through over the last, year and a half or something like that. To date, though, we feel like that we haven't been utilized as efficiently as we can, and we hope that in the future we will be able to work closer in all of the areas for people with disabilities. Just taking a look at the chambers, there are a couple of issues that we can still look at in terms of where the screens are located. This platform here, that there is a slight bump. Looking at the bathrooms, the women's bathroom is locked, and I couldn't go to the bathroom if I needed to right now. The actual ADA bathroom that we worked very hard to put in place is locked. The men's bathroom is also locked and tells you to go to the clerk of courts over there, but they close their doors at 4:30. So even just simple things like that. I'm sure that if we work together, we'll be able to overcome these small obstacles and make sure that people with disabilities, or even the doors that lock at 545 at Ontario Street, that's the only accessible entrance for people with disabilities, unless someone is superhuman and they can go up those mammoth ramps on the side of Lakeside. So little things like that. Bigger issues, such as leasing your buildings. When we lease in the past, we'd make sure that we had looked at all of the buildings from an ADA point of view to make sure that they're completely ADA compliant. We're not currently doing that, and we want to make sure that they are. There were some problems at a few of the buildings, and we have the good negotiating power before they're leased. We don't have nearly as much power afterward. So we hope that we can work a little bit more cooperatively and collectively. We're a great, wonderful resource, and the best part is that we are free. So we hope that you'll be able to take advantage of all of that, and we look forward to working together.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, congratulations on your proclamation.
Thank you so much for that.
And then we have someone on cybersecurity.
Thank you.
October is a very popular month.
October is a very popular month. I want to thank you for considering this proclamation supporting the National Cybersecurity Awareness Month during the month of October. National Cybersecurity Awareness Month is designed to engage and educate public and private sector partners throughout events and initiatives with the goal of raising awareness about cybersecurity and increasing the resiliency of the nation in the event of a cybersecurity incident. October 2012 marks the 9th annual National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, sponsored by the Department of Homeland Security. We've linked the Department of Homeland Security's webpage off of our Cuyahoga County webpage, and with that link you can see events that's going on that they are providing for both citizens and private industry on how to protect themselves in cybersecurity. There are also very helpful internet safety tips on that website. During the National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, we are asking everyone to take these very basic steps to improve our online safety. First one is obviously use antivirus software. The second one is don't open emails or attachments that are suspicious. The third one is keep your operating system and browser and other critical software optimized to the latest version. And fourth one is limit the amount of personal information you post online and use privacy settings to avoid sharing of information widely. Please help us to continue to spread the word about how to stay safe online. Thank you for your commitment and dedication to this critically important issue. And we've provided some pamphlets from Homeland Security to you. You should have those, and we actually included some on the desk over there as well. And this is Joe Hernandez, who's our IT security manager, who's really been behind this event and the security awareness campaign that we've been doing for the month of October.
Thank you.
Okay?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Oh, item 8, message from the county executive, who is it behind the podium.
Thank you very much, Madam President. A few things. One is, you may have read in the paper that there are some comments that have been made by ODOT and the governor's office regarding the turnpike, and I just wanted to, I've given you periodic updates on this. This coalition of county officials really across the whole northern part of the state continues to advocate on this issue on behalf of the people in this county and the 14 or so other counties that the turnpike runs through. I won't go into all the details except to say our last town hall meeting that we had regarding this topic was in Lucas County. We have 2 more that are coming up, one in Mahoning County and one in Erie County. It's really important that we try to have a public discussion about this. Just to give you one example of what's happened in the public debate that's happened on this issue. We were told originally that the state's $3 million plus consulting study on whether or not they should lease or privatize the turnpike in some form or fashion was going to be completed approximately on July 1st. Then we were told, no, it isn't going to be completed until after the election, probably at the end of December. That's what we were told in Toledo. This was just a few weeks ago. Now the announcement has been made that, no, the study is complete. It's already completed. We can't see it yet, but they've already seen it, and they will release it at some point in time. This is what part of the problem has been. We are going to be the end recipients of whatever this study and this process contains. There have been a number of commitments and promises that have been made about infrastructure projects, whether it's in the Toledo area or Interbelt Bridge or the West Shoreway, without really being very specific about how those things are going to be funded. And so I would just caution the council and other elected officials that it appears to us that the hidden part of some of those commitments may mean that there's been a commitment to lease or privatize the turnpike. And it has not been a transparent or open discussion, which is why we continue to try to do these town hall meetings where at least we've learned a little bit more information about the process. So I will notify you when the dates are set for the next 2 town hall meetings. Also, in the interest of transparency and in public meetings, I have 2 kind of town hall meetings that are coming up. One is in front of the Gates Mills Improvement Association. That is on October 10th at 7:30. I also have a town hall meeting in Parma at Parma City Hall. That's on October the 18th. There's also going to be a consumer fraud summit, which is which we just learned was being pulled together by the U.S. Attorney's Office. That is happening, which I'm going to have some slight participation in. That's happening this October 11th at noon. And again, it's being spearheaded by the U.S. Attorney's Office. We have a real opportunity, I think, in this county to do more with consumer fraud and consumer issues than we have in the past. We can take more of a leadership role in that. And Councilman Brady has been for many, many, many years, has been an advocate for this issue. I've had some discussions with him about that. But I think that this, and I'd invite him in particular at this summit on October the 11th. But I think this is a policy area where, although we're not commanded to do it by the charter, we have an opportunity to do something that we haven't done before. And the fact that we're being invited to participate in a discussion about consumer fraud issues by the U.S. Attorney's Office, that's an invitation that I think we should take them up on. That's all I have, Madam President. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Item 9, consideration of a ceremonial resolution for first reading adoption under suspension of the rules. We want to read the resolution first, and we'll go to talk about the suspension.
Resolution number 2012-0214, a resolution honoring the Taoiseach of Ireland, Enda Kenny, on the association of his visit, honoring the Republic of Ireland and the County of Mayo for the contributions of Irish Americans in Cuyahoga County, declaring Cuyahoga County's commitment to preserve and cultivate economic ties with the Republic of Ireland and County Mayo, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective. Additionally, Councilmember Gallagher has requested to become a sponsor of this legislation.
Ordinarily, county council rules require 3 meetings and referral to a committee. Since we're taking this without 3 readings and referral to committee, I would entertain a motion to suspend those rules, Rules 12A and 9D, so that we can pass this at tonight's meeting. Ms. Simon?
President, I move we suspend the rules.
Second.
The moved and seconded, we suspend the rules so that we can pass this without 3 readings and referral to committee. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Mr. Fitzgerald.
Thank you. I really appreciate Council's speedy consideration of this. I had the pleasure, on a personal note, to travel to Ireland a couple weeks ago, which was a lifelong ambition of mine for obvious reasons. But there's also some very practical economic reasons why we should have substantive discussions with the Republic of Ireland when Mr. Kenny visits. And first of all, it really is an honor for not just the Irish community, but all of Cuyahoga County. It'll be the first time that their equivalent of a prime minister, their head of government, is going to be visiting the Cleveland area. So that's a big deal, again, for the entire community. But the Republic of Ireland has already longstanding ties, not just cultural, but also economic, in Greater Cleveland, particularly with the Cleveland Clinic. And those ties are expanding. There really is a good case to be made that Ireland is a great gateway to the European market in the Eurozone for Cleveland area companies. And there's no less than 4 or 5 very substantive discussions that are happening right now about hiring Cleveland area residents for Irish companies that are talking about starting or expanding here in this area. And it's not, by the way, it's not just a visit of the Prime Minister, but it's also a visit, first of all, of County Mayo officials in particular. As you probably know, actually the Cleveland area is kind of has been the number one destination for immigration from County Mayo, so there's a particularly strong connection there. That's how some of us ended up here. But also Enterprise Ireland, which is kind of the Team Neo of the Republic of Ireland. It has really an international reputation in terms of making strategic investments in the growth sectors of their economy. We've really compared. Nate Kelly and I had a very substantive meeting with them in Dublin a couple weeks ago. We have some things to learn from them in terms of sectors of their economy that have done particularly well, particularly in the tech sector and biotech. And they will also be attending with Mr. Kenny. There's a number of public events, by the way, that Mr. Kenny will be attending. At one of them, I will present this, but I would invite members of the council. I'll make sure that Melvin gets you the itinerary of Mr. Kenny, and hopefully some of you can join us in welcoming him here to Cuyahoga County.
All right, thank you. You want me to just hold on to this till the appropriate
Sure.
time? Okay.
Sure.
Thank you. Item 10. Oh, yes, we got to vote on it.
Move to that.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. We'll mark it as unanimous vote by Cuyahoga County Council. All right, item 10. Committee reports and consideration of a motion of council for second reading.
Motion number 2012-0025, a motion confirming the county executive's appointment of individuals to serve on the Cuyahoga County Charter Review Commission and declaring the necessity that this motion become immediately effective for the individuals as printed on the agenda, item 10A 1 through 9.
Ms. Conwell.
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. I just would like to state for everyone here and those that are watching tonight, about over 100 people submitted names applying to volunteer their services on this Charter Review Commission. And out of the 9-member board, there was 8 districts that are not represented, including one of the largest metropolitan cities in the county, which is City of Cleveland. This is an important commission because they will work on any proposed changes that will directly impact the operation of this county government for the next 5 years and 10 years thereafter. Those making those proposed changes should be a bipartisan group that represents all segments and facets of the county. So I would like to ask President Connolly to refer this item back to the Human Resources, Appointments, and Equity Committee for further discussion.
Thank you, Ms. Conwell. There was discussions regarding this matter at the hearing, which was last Thursday, so those interested can go back and hear the discussions at the, online. Where at that time we interviewed each one of the persons that applied. So we'll be referring this back to the committee, and we'll be back on the agenda when it comes out of committee. Okay, thank you, Ms. Conwell. Item 11, committee reports and consideration of a motion of council for second reading adoption under suspension of the rule. These items have been before a committee, and if we waive the rule, the rule would require a third reading. So we're entertaining a motion this time to waive Rule 9D, which would require a third reading. Ms. Simon?
Move we suspend the rule.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we suspend Rule 9D to waive the third reading of this item. Any discussion on that? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Madam Clerk, if you read 0026.
Motion number 2012-0026, a motion confirming the county executive's appointment of Jan L. Roller to serve on the Cleveland-Cuyahoga County Port Authority Board of Directors and declaring the necessity that this motion become immediately effective.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Move
Move to adopt.
I move to adopt.
All right, moved by Ms. Conwell and seconded by Mr. Schrein. Ms. Conwell.
Yes, Madam Chair. This committee would like to confirm the appointment of Jan Roller for the Port Authority. The Port Authority is responsible for our maritime operations, and this is also a paid board. So I would like to ask Council, Committee of the Whole, to confirm this appointment.
And once again, we had a hearing with Ms. Roller, and she answered a number of our questions. So if anyone's interested in hearing that, it's available online where they can go back and watch the committee hearing. Any other discussions or questions on it? Ms. Roller is present.
I just have a question, Madam President. Did we ever determine when this term would expire?
That is a question that we have discussed. I've discussed with staff. I'm used to judicial appointments that go from a specific period. So, you're appointed for the term expiring, January 1st, 2015 or whatever. It is not clear at this time. This is a 4-year appointment, and so the appointment would start today. And we actually have asked the law department to get a clarification, so I think we will be doing a clarification at some point on all the boards to determine exactly when these terms end. But at this point, we're filling the vacancy on the Port Authority Board. But you raise an excellent question, and it's just a technical thing that we just need to straighten out.
Thank you.
Madam Chair? I just wanted to say that I fully support Jan Roller's appointment. She's a leader in this city and well-respected, and I know she's going to help this board move forward in the progressive place they're going with their new leadership. So I also ask for Jan's support for this appointment.
Okay, any other discussion? All right, all right.
Just,
Yes.
Chairperson, I'd just like to have my name added to this.
And Mr. Brady and Ms. Simon? Sure. Yeah. All right, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Congratulations, Ms. Reller. Item 12, consideration of a resolution of council for third reading referral to committee, item 0215.
Just to confirm, Madam Chair, that's first reading and referral to committee?
Did I say first reading? Sorry. I'm sorry.
Resolution number 2012-0215, a resolution approving the Metro Health System's policies and procedures to participate in one or more group purchasing associations for the purpose of acquiring supplies, equipment, and services provided through joint purchasing arrangements in order to achieve beneficial purchasing arrangements for the year 2013 in accordance with Ohio Revised Code Section 339.05 and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This matter will go to Public Works. All right, let's see if I can read the next one straight. Item 13 is the item, item 13, committee report and consideration of resolution of council for second reading adoption under suspension of the rules. This would require a motion to waive Rule 9D, which would require a third reading. Ms. Simon?
Madam President, I move we suspend the rule.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. We suspend the rules. It would require a third reading. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 0190.
Resolution number 2012-0190, a resolution approving the City of Cleveland to retain a certain city land bank parcel for devotion to public use to construct a new 3rd District Police Station and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on this matter?
President.
Yes.
Because of the potential loss of tax revenue, Cuyahoga County is required to give its approval whenever the City of Cleveland uses a land bank parcel for public purposes. This resolution gives our approval for the construction of the 3rd District Police Station, a very important project. It was reviewed in Finance and Budget Committee, and I ask for the council's approval.
All right, any other discussion?
Madam Chair, I'd like my name added to that.
Add Ms. Conwell's name.
Mine as well, Madam President.
And my name also. I had an opportunity to be at the committee meeting on this, and I was very impressed with the project. All right, any other discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 0212.
Resolution number 2012-0212, a resolution adopting the 2013 through 2028 Solid Waste Management Plan update for the Cuyahoga County Solid Waste Management District and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Rogers and seconded by Ms. Simon. Mr. Rogers?
Thank you. Madam President, this item was heard in the Environment and Sustainability Committee. The Solid Waste District, the Cuyahoga County Solid Waste District, is required by the EPA to submit a solid waste management plan. This is a routine plan that lasts over several years. Each community within Cuyahoga County, their legislative body is charged to approve or disapprove of the plan, and this is our time to approve the plan. It needs to be approved by all legislative bodies before November 17th, so there is some urgency to this, and I ask for your support.
Madam President?
Yes.
I too support this legislation. I want to add my name and want to point out that all the Solid Waste Committee held open hearings throughout the county for people to attend and voice their opinion, and there wasn't much opposition, if at all. I don't think any. And what this new plan does is it puts more emphasis than it has in the past on recycling efforts to help fund recycling awareness and actual implementation. So it's a good plan, and ask for colleague support as well.
Okay, any other discussion? Add Mr. Germana's name. Okay, there no further discussion. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. At this point, we're going to add on the item that was heard in the committee of the whole. That was amended. We amended the agenda item 2012-0011. And this will be on for second reading.
Right, this is a committee report and consideration of an ordinance of council for second reading. Ordinance number 2012-0011, an ordinance establishing a casino revenue fund for the purpose of collecting and expending proceeds from gross casino revenues, determining the uses for such proceeds and the timeframes for such uses. The sponsors are council members Schron and Brady.
All right, so this matter is on for second reading. It will be on for third reading at our next meeting, which will be October the 23rd. So those who want to review it, it is available online. We also have copies here this evening, or if you're on, if you'd like to come to council, we can give you a copy. So we had a lively discussion in the Committee of the Whole. If you'd like to hear those discussions, you can also go online and listen to them and also watch them. And we will entertain any comments from anyone at our next meeting, but we'll be up for a vote on October the 23rd. Item 14, consideration of a resolution for first reading adoption under suspension of the rules. These are our usual budgetary items that will not be, assuming we have pass a motion to suspend the rules, they will not be going to three readings or a committee referral because of their fairly urgent but also routine matters. So if we have a motion, Ms. Simon, under 9D and 12A to suspend the rules.
Yes, Madam President, I move we suspend those rules.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Simon and seconded by Mr. Gallagher. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. We'll go to item 0216.
Resolution number 2012-0216, a resolution amending the 2012-2013 biennial operating budget for 2012 by providing for additional fiscal appropriations from the general fund and other funding sources, for appropriation transfers between budget accounts, and for cash transfers between budgetary funds in order to meet the budgetary needs of various county departments, offices, and agencies, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt. Second.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Ms. Simon. Mr. Miller, we talked about, you have a question?
Madam President and my colleagues, this item primarily consists of routine items primarily for the appropriation of grants that we've received. However, we did have a question on one particular item in which a substantial amount of money was decertified from workforce development for some prior year items, and I would like to ask if Mr. Brickner could come forward and could give us additional information on why we were able to decertify that money and if any services were not provided because of that decertification.
Issue in regards to, as part of the budget process, it's on a calendar year, so it's an estimate of how much the workforce investment allocations will be. And then during the year, we get our allocations on a July through June fiscal year. After the fact, we found out that we took cuts in our federal allocations, so this kind of aligns the total appropriation with what our grant amounts actually are.
Did you understand?
Madam President, to my colleagues, the essential report was that we operate on a calendar year basis, but we get this money sent to us on a July 1st to June 30th basis. And we, in fact, received less money from the federal government for this purpose than we anticipated, which we can't do anything about. And so we need to align our budget records to be in match with what the federal government, in fact, did. But it doesn't mean that any services that we had previously appropriated for and were expecting to provide that we canceled them. It's more that we just did not get the federal money.
Oh, I understand. So there's like $471,000 and $991,000. So we thought we were going to get that money, and we didn't, in fact, get them. So then you just realign the budget.
Sure. We've taken some substantial cuts in the last 4 years, 50% of our Workforce Investment Act dollars. We're optimistic as part of the calendar process, hoping we'll get the amount of resources as the previous year, but we did not get that actual amount.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any other questions on this item, this budget item? All right, if there's no other questions, no other discussion, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Brickner. Item 15 is our item that we will have in executive session. Item 16, consideration of a resolution for first reading and referral to committee.
Resolution number 2012-0218, a resolution making awards on requisition number 24243 to various providers for debt collection services for the Cuyahoga County Clerk of Courts for the period November 1, 2012 through October 31, 2014, authorizing the county executive to execute the revenue generating agreements and all other documents consistent with said awards and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective. The providers are listed on the agenda, item 16A, 1 and 2.
This matter will be referred to the Finance Committee, and this is part of an ongoing process that we started over a year ago about the collection of court costs. We've been working with the administration. We've also worked with the Attorney General's office. So this will be another part of this process to collect some substantial amount of money that's due the county from people not paying their court costs. All right, item 0219.
Resolution number 2012-0219, a resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of healthcare and independent living facilities revenue bonds, Series 2012, Eliza Jennings Senior Care Network Project, in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $25 million for the purposes of currently refunding bonds issued by the county and paying certain costs of issuance, providing for the assignment of revenues for the payment of those bonds, authorizing the execution and delivery of amendments to base leases, amendments to leases, supplemental trust indentures, a bond purchase agreement, a first amended assignment of rights under leases, a first amended assignment of basic rent, and other instruments and documents in connection with the issuance of those bonds, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This matter will go to the Economic Development Committee.
Resolution number 2012-0220, resolution authorizing an amendment to contract number CE 1200346 with Applewood Centers Incorporated for the Staff Secure Shelter Program and Placement Planning Day Report Services for the period June 1, 2012 through May 31, 2014, to decrease the time period to June 30, 2013, and for additional funds in the amount of $800,000, authorizing the county executive to execute the amendment and all other documents consistent with this resolution.
This matter will be referred to Justice Affairs, and I believe that meeting will be on Friday at 11:30? All right, item 0221.
Resolution number 2012-0221, a resolution authorizing a grant agreement with City of Cleveland in the amount not to exceed $1,273,537 for implementation of the Emergency Solutions Grant Program for the period October 1, 2012 through December 31, 2013, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreement and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This matter will go to Health and Human Services, and I believe there'll be a meeting on Thursday.
Number 2012-0222, a resolution making awards on requisition number 24301 to various providers in the total amount not to exceed $2,401,782 for the Emergency Solutions Grant Program for the period October 1, 2012 through December 31, 2013, authorizing the county executive to execute the contracts and all other documents consistent with said awards in this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective for the providers in the amounts not to exceed and for the services as printed on the agenda, items E1 through 5.
This matter will go to Health and Human Services. Item 17, committee reports and consideration of a resolution for second reading. The following 12 items relate to bond issues that we read into the record at our last meeting. At this time, I'd like to call on Mr. Miller to entertain a motion pursuant to Rule 9C to waive the reading but by title only on the agenda. So, Mr. Miller?
Madam President and my colleagues, the items are long, similar, and tedious, and I move that we suspend Rules 9C and 9D and provide that a reading by brief title or description shall constitute the second reading for the group of items in this section A through M, so that the reading of the full title would not be required.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Miller, and I think I heard Mr. German. Mr. German. Everybody second that. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, we're going to save your breath tonight, Ms. Schmeitzer.
Thank you. Okay, resolution number 2012-0196, authorizing the issuance of bonds for refunding the university school project. Resolution number 2012-0201, providing for bonds to equip and improve county buildings, facilities, and structures. Resolution 2012-0202, providing for bonds to improve county jail, correctional, and juvenile detention facilities. Resolution number 2012-0203, providing for bonds to provide funds for radios and other communications equipment for the Sheriff's Department. Resolution number 2012-0204, providing for bonds to provide funds for a wind turbine to provide electric power at the county fairgrounds. Resolution number 2012-0205, providing for bonds to improve runways at the county airport. Resolution number 2012-0206, providing for bonds to advance refund at a lower interest cost all or a portion of the county's outstanding county building and facilities bonds. Resolution number 2012-0207, providing for bonds to advance refund at a lower interest cost all or a portion of the county's outstanding county correctional and detention facilities improvement bonds. Resolution number 2012-0208, providing for bonds to advance refund at a lower interest cost all or a portion of the county's outstanding capital improvement bonds for the Orange Place Extension Project in cooperation with Orange Village. Resolution number 2012-0209, providing for bonds to advance refund at a lower interest cost all or a portion of the county's outstanding sewer district improvement bonds concerning 5 water lines in Olmsted Township. Resolution number 2012-0210, providing for bonds to advance refund at a lower interest cost all or a portion of the county's outstanding sewer district improvement bonds concerning a water line in Sharp Road in Olmsted Township. Resolution number 2012-0211, providing for bonds to advance refund at a lower interest cost all or a portion of the county's outstanding sewer district improvement bonds concerning Chagrin Falls Township. And resolution number 2012-0213, providing for bonds for the Village of Highland Hills Municipal Building to be used jointly by the village and the county as a community center for governmental and civic purposes.
Thank you. Once again, these will be on for third reading on October 23rd. The full text of all of the items are available online. There are also copies available here and also copies available at the council office if anyone wants to read the whole document. So we'll have these at our next meeting, October 23rd. Item 18, committee report and consideration of resolution for second reading adoption under suspension of the rule. We entertain a motion pursuant to Rule 9D to waive the third reading of this matter. This is the jail kitchen item. It has been heard at numerous committee meetings, and so it's up for approval tonight. Ms. Simon?
Yes. Madam President, I move we suspend the rule.
Second.
I moved by Ms. Simon and seconded by Mr. Gallagher to suspend the rules. Any discussion on suspending the rules?
Madam President?
Yes.
Just for the record, I'm presuming the motion to suspend the rules is for all the items in this section and not
Yes,
just
it
for
is.
the
You're right.
kitchen
I
project.
stand corrected for all the items on this section. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. It's the one that's kind of got the most press, so sorry. All right, item 0189.
Resolution number 2012-0189, a resolution making an award on requisition number 22640 to Brigadier Construction Services in the amount of $6,444,000 for the Cuyahoga County Correction Center Jail Kitchen Renovation Project, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award in this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Moved by Mr. Rogers and seconded by Ms. Simon. Is there any discussion on this matter?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Greenspan.
I may begin and end the discussion, but I'll start the discussion. My vote here on this issue has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of work performed by Brigadier or anyone who bids on this. I'm voting against this resolution simply because of my inability to understand the grand scope of the project that's been presented to council and to committee. So I will be voting no on this issue.
All right, any other discussion? Mr. Germana?
I'm going to be voting yes on this issue. I just want to say for the record, I take exception to the fact that we had a speaker come up here and said that race had anything to do with holding this. Matter of fact, I was not part of the safety committee. I didn't know until tonight that the president of this company, what race she was, and it was strictly on qualifications. So I just want to say I take exception to the fact that there was the allegation that race had anything to play with this.
Mr. Gallagher?
Madam Chair, this item was in the Safety Committee for quite some time. It's been on the boards actually for 5 years. And the ideal thing would have been 5 years ago to have this done. But it was handed to us, and we did the best that we could. And we afforded everyone of it that had a concern the opportunity to come into the council meeting, to the committee meeting, to voice their concerns. We were ready, willing, and able to hear those concerns. We heard nothing. Something was brought to our attention through a plain dealer. We withheld movement on the contract because of that, because of the concern that we had going forward that something may be amiss. And as it turns out, through our due diligence afterwards, we found out there was nothing there. So it was worth holding at least to find out if there was a problem. There was no problem. Our law department has vetted this. We are now going to move forward on this. Recommendation of the Safety Committee was to adopt. And again, I can't stress enough of all the work that the Finance or the Safety Committee did, and not to hear any concern brought to us, even when we personally contacted those that had concerns. And their lack of showing up tells me volumes as to the quality of their concerns regarding this contract. And I would highly recommend that this council vote to move this contract forward.
Madam President.
Yes, Mr. Miller.
I would just echo the concerns expressed by Councilman Gallagher and Councilman Germana in that our aim in this council is to have an open and transparent process, and when we hear concerns expressed, we're inclined to take some time to look into them, and that doesn't mean we don't support the project or anything like that. It's just that it's a good thing to respect when concerns by the public are expressed. Thank you.
All right, Mrs. Simon and then Mr. Schrein.
President, I just wanted to thank the chair of the Safety Committee, Councilman Gallagher. He chairs the committee on which I sit, and the committee has steadfastly listened to everybody who's shown up, reviewed plans, very specific information we took in, considered, and recommended passage of this particular contract. So I recommend that the council join in, and certainly the comments made earlier did not apply to the process that this council has been involved with.
Mr. Schrein?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. I am supportive of what Mr. Gallagher has said and agree that if the opportunity was to object to, it should have come forward. I am also in agreement with Mr. Germana that my decision to hold it over had nothing to do with race, and I agree that I also did not have any idea as to who was president of that organization, so I'm deeply disappointed that somebody would take this microphone and say that just because we asked for a couple more weeks to look at it and find out whether there's any allegation of truth to that, that's our obligation and our burden and our responsibility to the taxpayers here. So with that, I agree with both my colleagues in regards to that.
And I'd just like to say I'm very enthused about this project because the jail kitchen is 37 years old, And this new kitchen will provide an opportunity for training for inmates. So this will help in reentry, that people will be able to get an experience, in addition to which some of my former defendants are probably over there looking for better meals. So I'm really enthused about this project because it is well needed, and it will certainly reconfigure the Justice Center. This kitchen will be on the first floor. I think the current kitchen is on the fourth floor or something. So it'll be much more accessible for entry, for providing a better. And I was talking to the gentleman today. It's going to change the way they provide meals, so it's really going to be progress for the inmate community.
Madam, I just want to add my name. Go ahead, sorry.
Simon and Mr. Rogers and Mr. Jones, add my name, Mr. Germana.
And I was raising to speak.
Ms. Conwell and then Mr. Jones. Right.
I just would like to, Madam Chair, thank Councilman Gallagher for his hard work with this project and bringing it to an end, because I do believe we have, since the beginning of council, we have been talking about this project. So once again, I commend him, and I'm glad it's almost through.
Mr. Jones?
Thank you, Madam President. And I'd just like to say that this body, we actually did not pull the project. We know the administration wanted to review it. And then after doing their due diligence, they have brought this project back. So I do support this project. And I support the fact that the administration has vetted them and is very comfortable with recommending them for our approval. So based on that, and knowing that this company, after hearing the presentation that was given, this company has grown from 2005 to today. And not only are they a minority company, an African-American company, but they have given us a 30%, greater than 30% as small business enterprise goal, and have helped other smaller companies. So they have done an excellent job, and for all that has been said, their reputation should not be marked in any way throughout this entire process. So again, I support and ask my colleagues to support this resolution.
Okay, can we come get a meal when you guys are finished?
Oh, boy. Check in first.
Okay. All right, any other discussion, any other questions? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, the ayes have it, marking one nay by Mr. Greenspan. All right, congratulations, and we look forward to your project. All right, item 0194.
Resolution number 2012-0194, a resolution declaring that public convenience and welfare requires reconstruction of Columbia Road, Cook Road, Mapleway Drive, River Road, and Water Street in the city of Olmsted Falls and Olmsted Township. Total estimated construction cost $576,792. Finding that special assessments will neither be levied nor collected to pay for any part of the county's costs of said improvement, and authorizing the county executive to enter into agreements of cooperation with said municipality and township in connection with said project.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Jones and seconded by Mr. Miller. Any discussion on this item?
Madam President, in Olmsted Township and the Olmsted Village, there is a sanitary sewer project that needs to take place. There are many, trying to think of the term of these sewer wiring that needs to be done for each of the residential homes. And as a result of this construction of a sanitary sewer system for the homes, road work needs to the roads need to be taken up. So as a result of that, this project and these dollars of $576,000 are going to the repair of the road while the sewer work is being done in parallel. Now, $327,000 of this is being done by the county, and the balance will be paid by Olmsted, the city of Olmsted Falls. And I ask my colleagues to support this project.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Any other discussion or questions?
Madam Chair, I'd like to be added as a sponsor.
I'm sorry?
I'd like to be added.
Add Mr. Greenspan's name.
I'm on there.
You're already on there? All right. All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 0195.
Resolution number 2012-0195, a resolution making an award on requisition number 23208 to Mead and Hunt Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $897,252.28 for an environmental assessment study for the Cuyahoga County Airport for improvements included in the master plan update and future airport layout plan, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award in this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Mr. Rogers. Any discussion on this item?
Yes, Madam Chair. This item was heard in the Environment and Sustainability Committee. The county airport has a master plan that calls for renovations to the airport as well as extension to the runway. And as a result of those changes, they're looking to conduct an environmental assessment study to see what are the results to the community that surrounds the airport. What are the impact on any noise, if there's any impact. I know that it calls for it actually doesn't call for relocation, but for chopping down some trees in the area and other things. So they're looking to see the environmental impact of these changes at the airport. Most of this all of the environmental study is being paid for via the FAA. It's a grant from the FAA. However, a portion of this, I believe it's to the tune of around $84,000 of it, goes for an economic impact study that will also be conducted by Mead and Hunt. And the county is fully funding the $84,000 portion of the economic impact study of the airport. So it's a good project. We did see the plans of the master plan of the airport, and I ask for your support of this.
Thank you, Rogers. Any other question, discussion?
I'm just going to add my name, if I can.
Name? And Mr. Germana? Mr. Rogers? Or Jones, I'm sorry. Rogers. Oh, I was right in the first place. Okay. Conwell? All right, any other discussion? All right, all's in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 0197.
Resolution number 2012-0197, a resolution authorizing an agreement with the Village of North Randall for participation in the Cuyahoga County Benefits Regionalization Program for the period September 1, 2012 through December 31, 2014, and authorizing the county executive to execute the agreement and all other documents consistent with this resolution.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Schron and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Ms. Conwell, do you want to be heard on this? Has involved the Village of North Randall participating in the county benefits, so they'll be able to get their health care through the county, and the Village of North Randall is in District 9, which is my district.
Yes, there was, Madam Chair, there was only a few members that, I believe it was 8, and I could be off on the number, that would be affected, but this resolution was similar to the other Cuyahoga County benefits that we have passed, so it was really too much vetting in the committee that had to be had about this. So our committee recommends this for passage.
This is a good program where small municipalities are able to buy into the county health care benefits program, and it reduces their cost to the individual cities. So it's a very good program. All right, any other discussion or questions? All right, all's in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 0198.
Resolution number 2012-0198, a resolution making an award on requisition number 24643 to Cleveland Communications Incorporated in the amount of $1,204,191.88 for the purchase of 56 Harris Unity Mobile and 190 portable multiband radios and accessories for the County Sheriff's Office, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award and this resolution.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Mr. Schron. Any discussion on this? Heard in Public Safety Committee.
Yeah, Madam Chair, as this is pretty self-explanatory, this purchases 190 new multi-band portable radios and accessories for all sheriff's deputies, and 56 new radios for the sheriff deputy vehicles. and this will bring all the radio systems up and compliant in January 1st, 2013 with the FCC regulations.
Thank you. Any discussion, questions? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 0199.
Resolution number 2012-0199, a resolution authorizing an amendment to contract number CE 1688 with Goodwill Industries of Greater Cleveland and East Central Ohio Incorporated for staffing for unpaid work experience and community service programs for Ohio Works First cash recipients for the period October 1, 2010 through September 30, 2012, to extend the time period to September 30, 2013, and for additional funds in the amount of $571,550, authorizing the county executive to execute the amendment and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Moved by Mr. Brady and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Any discussion on this item?
Madam Chairperson. This amendment is to an existing contract and is intended to assist the county in meeting the work participation requirements of the Federal Cash Assistance Program. This is basically for staffing. It's 100% federal TANF funds.
All right, any other questions? Okay, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 0200.
Resolution number 2012-0200, a resolution approving a license fee of $20 for all dogs, effective December 1st, 2012, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
I hear Ms. Simon first and seconded by Mr. Miller. All right, Ms. Simon, do you want to be heard on this?
Sure, Madam President. This resolution actually asks for an increase of our dog license fees, but $20 from $16 to $20 across the board. The history of this is that dog license fees have historically been $20 across the board, but when I met with the kennel, we decided last year as a pilot program to see whether we could incentivize having dogs spayed and neutered by having a license differential. For spay and neuter dogs would be $16, and ones that were not were $20. Well, what we found out is all of a sudden everybody's dogs were spay and neutered, and so the revenue for the kennel went way down. So this was a pilot program just to see if it would be effective and in the educational component, and it didn't work. So what this resolution asks council to consider is to restore what has been in place for many years. And I asked for the support because the kennel, even though it has a reserve right now, is expected to be spent because the kennel has more dogs now than it has before, because different communities are losing their animal control, which has resulted in more dogs being sent to the county to be taken care of. So that expense is going to be going up. Bay Village, for example, right, Councilman Greenspan? Got rid of its animal control warden, and what that does, it really puts more pressure on our county kennel and the dogs to find homes, because with the mortgage foreclosure crisis, it's bad enough, but this just adds more stress. So this really just restores what's been in place, and I hope council will support this to allow the kennel to do its good work.
All right, any other questions, discussion? Mr. Greenspan?
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. I don't want to ruin the kumbaya that Councilmember Simon and I have been having the last couple of days, but we have a philosophical difference on this, and not so much that it's not in support of dogs. Actually, I'd like to see more dogs registered with the county. I don't believe raising the price will do that at all. As a matter of fact, if the kennel wishes to increase its revenue, it should adopt the strategy of broadening its base, meaning having more dogs become licensed. I challenge them, as Councilmember Simon has done with the Top Dog program, to make more of an outreach and awareness program that people need to, by most city ordinances, to have their dogs registered. So I believe if we want to see more dogs registered, if we want to see an increase in revenue, the solution is not raising the tax or raising the fee. Take the tax word back, raising the fee. The solution is broadening the base and have more dogs registered. So I am in favor of retaining the fee at $16.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Ms.
Ask Councilman Greenspan to assist me with Top Dog this year.
Sure.
Okay, that'd
I
be
did
great.
last year.
Last year, yeah. But I just want to point out is that in the past we've had more deputies on duty to go out into the community to do exactly what Councilman Greenspan is indicating, is to go out and to make sure the dogs are licensed. And that was a very, very productive program, which had to be cut because the past administration cut out at least 3 deputies. So that's something that I think we need to look at in order to bring in more revenue, is to probably get it back to where it was in terms of staffing, because that's part of the problem. So I agree with Councilman Greenspan. We do need to broaden that. And that was one of the effective ways we looked at the cost-benefit analysis. With the additional staff, brought in significantly more revenue, which paid for the deputies, which are not paid that much to begin with. And thanks to our team, we were able to get their salaries up this year with the labor contracts. So thanks very much, and I look forward to working with all of you on Top Dog.
And I just want to add that, people really need to get their dog license, because that's your license, that's your dog's license home. You got that tag on your dog has a better chance of being found and brought back home. Yes, Mr. Schwan.
Yeah, I applauded Councilman Simon's thoughts last year on the spading and neutering of the dogs. I think it's an excellent awareness. The public needs to be aware of it all times with the dogs and the cats. And so where I differ, though, is that 1 year on a program to test a pilot is not long enough. In our organization, we would run 3 years and to see whether or not it can be effective and try different techniques before I would write it off. So I'm going to vote against it, only because I think that your program from last year was the way to go, and to try that, because I applaud your ideas and thoughts on that.
All right, any other discussion? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
All right, so we have 2 noes, Mr. Greenspan and Mr. Schran, and the motion carries. Item 19, consideration of a resolution for third reading adoption, item 0174.
Resolution number 2012-0174, a resolution authorizing an economic development loan in the amount not to exceed $566,312 to NSL Analytical Services Incorporated for purchase of test equipment for a facility located at 4535 Renaissance Parkway, Warrensville Heights, authorizing the Deputy Chief of Staff of Development or Director of Development to execute all documents consistent with said loan and this resolution. And Council President Conley has requested to be a sponsor on this legislation.
Move to adopt.
What do you think?
Second. A move by Mr. Schran and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Is there any discussion on this matter?
Yeah, this was heard in the Economic Development Committee, and I think it was brought forth as an excellent program of job growth and of products and services for the manufacturing industry, where the services will be yielded not only for local customers, but they've got a worldwide presence as far as non-destructive testing and testing of products so critical to the aerospace industry, the defense industry, and many other. And so I would encourage my colleagues to support it. I know we do have a representative here from the organization, but I don't know that it's necessary to have that person speak, but because they did speak in our active committee.
All right, any other question, discussion? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, item 20, consideration of an ordinance for first reading and referral to committee. Item 0030.
Ordinance number 2012-0030, an ordinance establishing the organizational structure of the Department of Development and creating divisions within the department, and declaring the necessity that this ordinance become immediately effective.
This matter will be referred to the Economic Development Committee and will be heard, and by Mr. Schran's committee will notify us when we have his next meeting.
Yeah, I'll work with the executive's office when they have their proposals and manning charts ready to go.
Thank you. This is pursuant to the section of the charter that provides that council has to adopt all organizational plans for departments within the county structure. Item 21, committee reports and consideration of ordinances for third reading.
Second reading.
Second reading. I get my numbers straight tonight.
Ordinance number 2012-0025, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2011-0028, which adopted the Cuyahoga County Human Resources Personnel Policies and Procedures Manual to amend Section 6.12 to mandate the use of direct deposit for paying employees' compensation and declaring the necessity that this ordinance become immediately effective.
Yes,
Yeah, okay, Ms. Conwell, is there anything, there's an amendment to this or a substitute?
Madam Chair, I would like to introduce the proposed substitute ordinance, which is located on page 433 in your packets. Changes were made and the effective dates on this ordinance to allow enough time for the employees affected by this ordinance to have enough time to comply with the ordinance regarding direct deposit.
And the substitute will do what now?
The substitute changes the effective dates.
Okay, so everything stays the same, just changing the effective date of when they have to start with direct deposit?
And also gave them a length of time to comply. I make a motion to accept the proposed substitute.
It's moved by Ms. Conwell and seconded by Mr. Miller to substitute the ordinance as in your book on page 433. Is there any discussion on this?
Madam President, I'm just curious, not to doubt my colleague, but it was HR. Are they in concurrence with this amendment?
Yes.
Yes, I think HR brought it in.
They brought it in.
Very good, thank you.
And the original amendment is on page 429, and the proposal is on 433.
Yeah, I attempted, and I guess Ms. Harris here, but they brought in, it was an error they wanted to correct, and so they recommended the change. Okay. All right, so this will be on for October 23rd. Item 00, oh, I'm sorry, we got to vote on the amendment. Yes. Yes, okay, there's been motion to substitute. Any discussion on the substitute? All right, all's in favor of adopting the substitute ordinance indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, the ayes have it, so this substitute ordinance will be, it will be on for third reading on October 23rd. All right, now, item 0029.
Ordinance number 2012-0029, an ordinance authorizing the renaming of the Division of Employment and Family Services, Cuyahoga Support Enforcement Agency, to Cuyahoga Job and Family Services, and declaring the necessity that this ordinance become immediately effective.
And this matter will be on for October 23rd. Item 22, any miscellaneous committee reports? Let's start this way and come around. Mr. Miller?
Madam President and my colleagues, Finance and Budget will meet at its regular time this coming Monday, the 15th at 1 o'clock. 4 items on the agenda. The debt collection for court cost legislation that was referred today, third hearing on county business preference, and a preview on the upcoming budget work, and also a discussion of items on the county's balance sheet. Thank you.
Madam Chairperson, the Health and Human Services Committee will meet at 1 o'clock on Thursday to take up the legislation that was introduced this evening.
Madam President, the Public Works Committee meeting will meet this Thursday at 11 o'clock to deal with the item referred to committee today.
Mr. Rogers?
We don't have confirmation yet, but we may be setting up a meeting this Friday, environmental and sustainability, to meet with the Port Authority to discuss specifically their plans with what they're going to do with the dredge material that comes out of the Cuyahoga River.
Ms. Simon?
This Friday, 11:30, Justice Affairs, and just wanted to point out October 12th is Feral Cat Awareness Day. So if we're looking at October awareness, think about feral cat on the 12th. It's Spay Neuter Return.
All right, any other miscellaneous business? I just want to make sure that everybody puts this back scratcher on your ethics report. It's a very expensive item.
Madam President, not to compete with the executive, but on October 18th, I will be having a town hall meeting, and the subject will be the Board of Elections and the elections process. Not partisan election process, just how the Board of Election operates and conducts an election. It'll be at the West Shore Tri-C campus at 7 p.m.
Yes, Mr. Schrems.
I too will be at Gates Mills tomorrow evening. I'm surprised the county executive left that off because it's a tag team approach, and all the signage up there. So the two of us will be together talking about the county and what's taking place.
I believe that we have two persons signed in for comments unrelated to the agenda. I think they're going to call your name, so you can come on.
Kathy Schaefer.
Thank you for letting me speak. I'm from South Euclid. I'm here to talk about the county library system's plan to abandon the Telling Mansion, our South Euclid Lyndhurst Library. My concerns are following. Number one, the cost. It's $12 million or more to build this unneeded library and $5 million to upgrade Telling Mansion. The cost is prohibitive for something we already have. We can save $7 million by not building a new library. Cost to South Euclid. The city loses tax revenue on this property that is sold to the library. One council person is stating the city hopes to generate 2 businesses in the mansion to make up the loss. We all know how businesses go these days. Here today, gone tomorrow. Nail salon one day, tattoo parlor the next. This historic mansion will spiral down and no longer be a public space. No real protection for Telling Mansion. It is known that just because it's on the historic register, it's not safe from destruction or modification. The best way to preserve it is to keep it a library. Number 4, loss of a cultural, historically significant building to the city as a public space. The city of South Euclid literally has few amenities. We have no significant green space, no historical buildings except the library for public space. Notre Dame is not open to the public per se for use unless you pay tuition. We have no recreation facility. The loss of Telling Mansion is a serious loss and devastation for the city's public space. Ethics and transparency. The library board's master plan, to the best of my recollection, has always stated the library was slated for updating and rehabbing. It's not until the last minute did they switch this plan. I question the ethics here. No public comment was ever solicited. Their dealings to me are not transparent or ethical. Any time in the last year and a half when I went into the library, employees have always stated that the library is staying here. To keep public opinion out of this, especially Lyndhurst, that has no say, is unethical for a project of this scale, magnitude, and cost. Library director stated to me in June of 2012 that was a done deal with the support of the mayor as approval. It just seems odd that 2 tax-supported entities making a deal privately with no public comment when a master plan has already okayed for the library to be rehabilitated. Notre Dame,
And
this should not be a library.
Your time is up, ma'am. You want to have a sentence or two to conclude?
Can I conclude then?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
I guess I just want to say it's not easy to come down and complain. You've got a lot of business. I know Cuyahoga County's got a lot of issues, okay? But officials should realize how hard it is for citizens to accept bad change. One day you're walking in your neighborhood and several houses are gone. Another day you go shopping, your stores are gone. The next day you go to work, your job's gone. The next day your favorite green space is gone for a useless, unneeded store. The next day your library's gone, the centerpiece and foundation of your community. And if I have to hear changes and hard when it's for the better, I just wish you would listen to us. I wish there could be some kind of investigation into this or some looking into this. It's a big loss to our community.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Fran Mensch.
The Cuyahoga County Public Library suffers from too much money. Money that the prior county government approved on August 19th, 2010, 75 days before this form of government was elected. The county commissioners approved $75 million in municipal bonds for Cuyahoga County Public Library, and you have inherited responsibility for the use of these monies. Some of these monies are currently proposed to be used to have the South Euclid-Lyndhurst branch of the Cuyahoga County Public Library move out of the Telling Mansion, a building on the National Register of Historic Places, and it has been home to this library since the 1950s. The Cuyahoga County Public Library wants to move into a new building. The current building, Telling Mansion, will these are the library's own figures, will cost $5 million to renovate, including making it ADA compliant by installing for only $400,000 a new elevator. It will cost $12.5 million to build a new building. The rationale is that the Telling Mansion is not accessible. Again, as I say, included in that $5 million is $400,000 for a new elevator. The second rationale is that it is ill-suited to be a library. 48% of all the materials circulated from the Telling Mansion are DVDs, CDs, or books on CD. I'm a librarian, but you don't have to be a librarian to know that these formats are declining in use, and they're being replaced by streaming and by downloading to personal electronic devices. So again, it's $5 million to renovate the Telling Mansion, or it's $12.5 million to put all the books, CDs, and DVDs in one room. Library users do not demand this kind of accommodation. People will go to red box vending machines, in parking lots, outside of grocery stores, in the middle of the night for DVDs. This is an ill-conceived plan. An example, this was taken directly from the library's website. The strategic plan is this map, which indicates that this is the location of the current library. This library is gone. This is the Mayfield Heights Library, which they moved way out. That's part of their plan. But the legend will tell you that this is all borrowers, and the most borrowers, the density is indicated by orange. So they are moving the library to the least dense part of the community.
You'd like to wind up?
Thank you. This plan was not conceived in an open, transparent, or inclusive manner. We ask that the South Euclid-Lyndhurst Library stay in Telling Mansion. This will save the mansion and $7.5 million. You may say there is nothing that you can do, but we all know that you can use your significant political power in this circumstance. So we ask you, what will you do to keep the county library in South Euclid-Lyndhurst in the Telling Mansion, and what will you do to save the Telling Mansion and to save $7.5 million?
Thank you, ma'am. The next meeting of the Cuyahoga County Council will be on October 23rd here in council chambers at 5 o'clock. At 3 o'clock on October 23rd, we will also have a work session. At that time, we will have an update on the MedMart and also a presentation from Mr. Dave Gilbert on the Sports Commission. At this time, we will go back to item 15 on the agenda for executive session.
Madam President, just before we go into executive session, I just wanted to say the library is in my district, the South Euclid-Lyndhurst, and I'm planning to have a meeting for residents of both communities this month and bring a representative from the library so that at least the residents can have a chance to express themselves and have an open forum for that discussion. So that's going to be posted on the website when I get the date.
All right, thank you. Anything else? All right, all meetings of the Cuyahoga County Council are open to the public under the Open Meetings Law. Under that law, council may go into executive session during the meeting for specifically authorized purposes. During executive session, council confers outside the hearing of the public. Council may not make any decisions about any matters in executive session. All decisions are made in public. This evening, council will go into executive session to discuss a collective bargaining matter. During this time, our live stream will be down, and we will ask those not specifically needed for executive session to leave council chamber. Anyone may re-enter at the conclusion of the executive session. Is there a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of debating or discussing a collective bargaining matter?
Second.
I don't know, who moved? Ms. Simon, moved by Ms. Simon, seconded by Mr. Germana. You call the roll, please.
Moving to executive session, Mr. Brady? Mr. Germana?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers? Ms. Simon? Mr. Greenspan? Mr. Miller? Ms. Conley?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, motion carries, and we will go into executive session. All those not involved, please exit the room.